testament to how well he played that game. Very impressive, and I wouldn't be surprised to see it eventually banned out at some point in this draft because it felt like such a massive game changer to me.
Well, it was a first phase pick, so if they're going to ban it, it's got to be early, right?
I would assume so, yeah. Um, but is it worth banning a Clockwork? Probably not. They might be saying, okay, maybe we could have played a little bit better against it. Maybe grouped up a little earlier, made some, put some better warding down to spot the clock's rotations coming through.
For sure, for sure.
It's all hindsight.
Yeah. And now we'll see if they can adapt or risk losing. And obviously it's adapt if that situation does arise again, if they do go to the Clockwork with one of their first 2 picks, or even just within the draft. Because I mean, if we see this CDC lineup, I worry, because that really did look like they had the lineup to just shut down IG on all fronts.
I mean, they just outplayed them in that game too. CDEC. That was what it was. I feel like IG outplayed themselves a little bit as well, but at the same time, full credit to CDEC. They looked really good, and when you play a 3-game series and you win game 2, it gives you that confidence going into that final game that you can beat them again. So I think they've done it at the exact right time, and if they beat IG in this series, I think it would shock a lot of people, and hopefully bring in some attention to themselves that they deserve.
I would say, with the fact that they did have the 1-0 lead for the side of IG, it's not the same, but similar to what they say in hockey. 2-goal lead's the worst lead you can have, because one lead gives you momentum and the second one brings you right back into it. And I mean, here in the best of 3, obviously that situation's not exactly similar, but one win brings you back into it, and now you've got the momentum rolling into game 2.
Mm-hmm. It's so funny seeing Timbersaw banned every game, even after it gets nerfed all the time. Like Spirit Vessel gets a little bit of a buff, kind of, and Timbersaw's still just banned out every single game. It's so horrible to play against. I hate that hero. One of my friends just spams it out of control, and I just filthy Timber players. I'm telling you. It was the most banned hero last patch, and the most recent patches by some margin. Like, it was crazy.
Anything in those 4 bans that they might have left out that's been picked up quite often?
Grimstroke's still in if they want to go for it. Oracle as well. We saw the Keeper of the Light in the first game, which is, a potential for CDEC, if it's what they like to play. Ember's still in the pool as well. I think it's a massive one for both of these teams. We've seen a lot of popularity with that hero. Void Spirit as well.
There's the Grimstroke for CDC this time.
Okay.
I mean, that was Ame's focus every single time. Ame would start the fights off by taking out the Grimstroke with that Venom Lancer. And, I mean, he wasn't able to do anything that game.
Yeah, he really struggled to do anything, though, on the Grimstroke, because the DK was kind of just farming a lot with what he was doing. And the Storm just wanted to farm all the time as well. So, like, where Grimstroke wants to make plays on the map with this aggressive Ink Sword all the time, they just didn't have that capability. And they are just going to enter open Centaur Rubik on IG, which feels like a massive comfort for them. I'm pretty sure Centaur got banned out in the first 2 games of this series. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So JT finally gets his hero, and pair it with the Rubik, which anything you steal from on Grimstroke is amazing on Rubik. So I think that's a good shout for them. It's just a really capable lane. I wonder what they pair. I still think Ember's okay here if they want to go for it. Monkey King, again, I talked about it last game. I think it's still okay. Just it depends what kind of hero they want to play with the Grimstroke.
We'll see what they want to do with this second pick, on top of which, a lot of people saying that I should be making my bed. Guys, I lay down, I rest in between games. It just can't be made 24/7. I'm going to go right to bed after this 3rd game. So, I just want to jump right in. I don't want to have to undo the sheets and everything. I just want to bet. Back to the draft. Tusk, Grimstroke, CDEC. Interesting second choice after the Grimstroke, but I feel like we've seen this opening before. Maybe not today, but definitely recently in the past.
And James played it in the first game of the series, though, right? The Tusk, I'm pretty sure.
The Tusk, yeah, was played in the first game. There were a couple times where Fly, who was playing the Lycan that game, got caught out in just a Walrus Punch that destroyed him. That killed him from like half health. So,
but we
we'll
also saw how
CDEC
likes the potential for a tri-lane in game 1, right? With the Keeper of the Light and the Tusk. And Grimstroke Tusk as a support duo in a tri-lane sounds absolutely terrifying to play against. So they might just decide they really want to try and shut this Centaur Rubik lane down, and put these two supports in a lane together with another hard carry that can utilize the kind of free lane that he will get. And so look to them, again, like we saw before with the Beastmaster, picking up some kind of off-lane hero for themselves that doesn't need too much help in the laning stage. Something, again, especially with the Grimstroke I talked about before, something like Batrider might be really nice for CDEC. I don't know how much the Chinese teams value that hero at the moment, but I think it can be really strong.
And there's that ban on that Monkey King. Yeah. We just won't see it.
That's a shame. I enjoy watching that hero with how aggressive it can play.
Especially Fly. You know, back when he was on Serenity under the tag of GGG, he used to destroy with that hero. Even back further than that, King Gaming, he used to really destroy with that hero. So they go into the Shadow Demon. This will be for Ollie once again. So they've got themselves their 3-4-5, CDC, Tusk, Grimstroke. They need some cores.
I think it's also covering them from this potential TV pick as well, right? Which we saw CDEC playing game 1. Again, it's another good setup for the Centaur Stomp, like good defensive purposes. If Tusk ever goes on anybody, you can either disrupt him or disrupt like the target that they're trying to focus down quickly with the punch and the tag team. I think this is pretty good going. I like this a lot. A little bit of a greedy support Joe, I would say, Rubik and Shadow Demon.
Third game in a row, Void Spirit for CDC.
Okay. I don't mind this. Seems to be something they're very comfortable on. And if you look at the 3-4-5 from IG, they all really hate playing against Ag's Void Spirit as well. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that being his first item as we've seen in the other 2 games. Sometimes it's just a little bit too good not to buy.
Morphling.
Ooh. I would normally say I don't massively like this pick, but I think because they have the save potential from the Shadow Demon, I don't mind the Morphling too much. And because they have last pick overall, they don't have to show whether it's mid or safe lane morph either, so they've got a little bit of flexibility with where it can lane. PL pick, very good though. Obviously the Morphling might just end up going Diffuse or Manta and turning into the PL every single fight to effectively become his own PL. Wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing. But again, something that CDEC seemed pretty confident on. You know, they won game 2 on it. Why not stick to what they were good at? Try and go for it, all out for game 3 with this same comfort hero again. They don't have a great amount of lockdown either on IG against the PL. Like they've got disruption, they have lift, but like Centaur Stomp has such a long cast time that the PL can kind of often doppelganger out before the stomp goes off anyway.
And they go back to this Phantom Lancer Void Spirit combination for CDEC. I mean, obviously, it's something that we saw work in the previous game. Now it's here with the Tusk Grimstroke with the support duo changing. It was the Skywrath in the previous game, as well as the Coddle. No, the Chen. Sorry.
Another hero, by the way, I'm really surprised the Chinese teams haven't really touched that we've seen is the Nature's Prophet. Because has that hero come over to China much at all? Because I feel like it's in a really good place.
He's on the left not on the left. Sorry, excuse me. The Nature's Prophet is gets picked up. He's been played by Chalice a couple of times. He usually sometimes gets a 5 position as well. We'll see him played by like X Nova or even FY or even in the offlane. He's been in a lot of places. I think Faith Beyond might have played him the other day.
But has anybody except LGD like really experimented with that hero? I feel like again that's something that's going to start to appear in China again. I wouldn't be surprised.
probably eHome. I would say Faith Beyond is one of those guys. I would say plays him in the off lane or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Let me actually take a look at their Wikipedia because I'm almost certain that they played it recently.
Right, so what are they going to pick as their off laner? And they do go
the
Batrider. I really like this. I talked about it before at the start of the draft. Hero that doesn't need help. Shadow Demon can't really bully him out in the lane either when he starts to creep skip and things. Like, he has Shadow Poison, but if Batrider goes boots first, he doesn't really care. And they have the double lasso potential now as well. Good lockdown for the Morphling. I think this is a solid pick for CDEC. And if the Tusk decides to come and dual lane with the Batrider, again, that's another decent dual lane for them. So they're not locked in on this tri lane for a CDEC, but I'd be very surprised if they didn't at least start the game out with 3 heroes in the PL's lane. And I think you put the Morphling mid lane now, and you pick a different safe laner to lane up against the Batrider. I think Morphling gets a little bit toasted by the Batrider if Batrider can get some levels early on. Because he just runs at you non-stop.
I will say, knowing Fly, I feel like he might even just play this Morphling. But Emo does play a good Morphling too. It's just so many times that I've seen this Morphling for Fly that I kind of just think, that just might be a safe lane Morphling regardless. But we'll see.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it could well still be. Well, they're actually they're going to put the Morphling mid and they're going to put the Weaver in a safe lane against the Batrider. I think this is a much better choice. Now they have these 2 really maneuverable cores in the Morphling and the Weaver, and they don't have a huge amount of lockdown on CDEC. This Soulbind on Grimstroke is going to be insanely important this game. They need to try and at least catch either the Weaver or the Morphling with it every single time, because if they don't, I'm not sure they have enough lockdown in their lineup to be able to deal with both of those cores. Hoping for another big performance from SRF as well. I'm a big Batrider fan. I think that hero can be is really useful in a lot of situations, and especially if you have the double lasso potential as well. All it takes is one good fight from CDEC, and this PL is going to be away, I think. But let's see how much more work the Morphling can get done, because sometimes we see some games where Morphling just pops off and then it feels like the game's just over itself.
Yeah, I'm interested to see, especially with SRF on this Batrider with the aggressive playstyle that he usually goes to. I think that's really going to help him on this Batrider, because the few times I see Batrider in the offlane, it's hyper aggressive. Like, it is just run at you. You've got 3 stacks of sticky napalm when we start. You've got about 6 or 7 when you're dead. And that with the Tusk, right? Because it would be Grimstroke with the Phantom Lancer. So, I mean, with the Tusk, you get good shards out, and all of a sudden you're going to burn out pretty quickly.
I'm really interested to see that if they decide to creep skip on the Batrider, where the Tusk's lanes, and if the Batrider's by himself, if he decides to creep skip. Because if he does, the Shadow Demon can take Disruption at level 1, and it's one of the only skills in the game that stops people from creep cutting, because they just lose aggro of the creeps completely. Like, the creeps just walk off in the meantime. So the Batrider might struggle a little bit in the laning stage. It's my worry if they don't help him, but again, like, if you just go and cut creeps between the tier 2 and tier 3, try and stack some waves up, then it should be fine.
Prepare for
is he playing the Batrider mid, actually, against the Morphling? I think he is.
He's got 2 shared tangos, so let's see where he ends up.
Yeah, they are. This is a really good switcheroo from CDEC. I'm a big fan of this. It makes Morphling's game a lot harder, especially when the Batrider gets like level 3 or something. It's so easy to land napalms on the enemy mid laner, because the lane's so short. Like, the tier 1 towers are so close to each other in comparison to the side lanes that the Morphling's going to have to back off really far from the lane if he wants to stop getting napalm spammed on top of him. And if Batrider ever gets to like 4 or 5 stacks, especially when he gets like that level 3 mark, don't be surprised if he just starts running at the Morphling. I think this is an awesome play. I'm really surprised. I didn't even think about this as an idea, so it's nice to see. I feel like I learn so much still when I watch these games. It's crazy.
There's so much to learn in every game of Dota, I think. Just the little things, or even like the little intricacies, matchups, especially when when you're in the first day of a patch like this, or I know it's not something that's changed the game massively. You learn the little things. I feel like the best way I learn new patches is by watching or casting a game of it immediately.
This Weaver started running bot, by the way, because he wants to lane up against the Batrider, and they think the Batrider's in the other side lane. They saw the PL top, and so the Weaver's like, okay, I'm going to go bot then. Centaur's going to go top and deal with the tri-lane, and they're going to be quickly amazed that the Batrider's going to be the mid laner, and then they're all going to panic in a second watch, I bet. And they're going to be like, oh, what do we do? What are they going to go with? Maybe Emo just feels happy in this lane, but it's not an easy lane for the Morphling.
We'll see what he's able to accomplish. This also puts solo experience on the Batrider, where you'll have, lasso pretty early on. I wonder what they're going to do with that control. So we'll see.
Batrider just needs to get this level 3 mark before he's really strong in this lane. Level 2 is still really good because he can actually threaten the Morphling, but level 3 is where, if he takes Flame back at 3, especially, Morphling is going to be in a little bit of pain. Where's the
Ball is coming out as Rubik disconnects.
So they are just going to stick to this tri-lane. XM's not going to have an amazing lane, and Weaver's actually started moving to the mid lane, by the way. He's realised that they want this matchup in the Batrider against the Weaver, so Emo's going to probably start walking down soon.
That's rough, though.
Yeah, it is rough.
Oy.
Especially because Morphling's such a slow hero as well. Like, if he has to walk down to the bot lane, he's going to feel really bad.
This is just Emo getting abused already, and he's backing off just so he can TP
He's
out.
actually TPing.
Yeah.
And Batrider would have seen this now as well, so he's probably going to TP and do the same thing, I would imagine.
You think he swaps lanes, or if he is it worth just staying here, or can he stay here against Fly mid?
I mean, he can stay to if he wants, if they feel like this is okay, but I'd be very surprised if... Yeah, like, Batrider's just TPing bot, and Void Spirit's going to TP mid. I like this switcheroo a lot. Like, they have to make Morphling's game as hard as possible. Which they are going to do. And I think that, yeah, the Tusk has to come bot now as well, I think. It's really good.
Ooh, they look over at Ollie. I think luckily for them, James is still just sitting here level 1. And now they bring the Weaver over bottom. Because Weaver walked mid. He's able to TP towards, back towards bottom. And then they'll put the Morphling over mid once again. So,
yeah,
it'll probably stay this way.
Yeah, I think CDEC are probably going to have to end up keeping these lanes. XM's like, I'm the mid player, just let me play against the Morph guys. It's fine.
Denied.
Dire's courier has been killed.
I mean, now it ends up being... Ooh, that's a
Big
significant courier kill.
Ooh.
But SRF burning out Fly, they've got the disruption, something that they desperately needed, so Ollie had to be bottom here, as now SRF taking a lot of damage and being chased the opposite direction, but the tag team comes in. 4 stacks of sticky napalm, and a bunch of poison stacks onto this Batrider.
Luckily he's only level 2 still. Oh, Kaka actually kills...
What is this?
He took Inkswell at level 1 on the
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Grimstroke, which is fine, but because this Rubik's level 2 and he has the lift available, I guess he has the boots advantage as well, so easy kill.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Gets first blood. IG get away with that one. I think that's the 3rd game in a row that they've gotten themselves first blood. Current record, obviously, 1-1 after getting first blood.
Oh, so it's a 50-50 this game is what you're saying.
Yeah, now it's either you win or you don't.
That's pretty smart, Peacock. He might just go on the weave. Okay. Really wants a point in the flame break first, I think, before he commits.
It's still pretty tough to go in, though, because Ollie's just going to use that disruption.
True, but at the same time, like, if the Tusk can get a shard block off ever on the Weaver when he's Sakuchi'd, Weaver has to be really careful. There is a wand on the Weaver, though, as well. So.
Good stroke of fate there from Victoria. This is your typical lane, though, with the Centaur as well as the Rubik. They'll look for a telekinesis into a hoof stomp. Maybe they can get it out on a Victoria, although that being said, he puts on an Inkswell on himself before he gets it with the telekinesis into the hoof stomp, and he might end up stunning either Kaka or JT to the point where Ame can turn around and get a kill.
XM committed for the 4-minute bounty rune by running in towards the top before it spawned. It spawned bot and it was a regen rune, and that feels so bad as the Void Spirit. Like, the fact that you could have got that in your bottle yourself, and now instead you've got this empty bottle. The Morphling picked up a regen rune, so your lane's going to be harder now. Feels really sad for him. XM, poor guy. He does have a little bit of a level advantage though on Emo, which is nice, because of Emo having to walk around a bit before. I think he must have missed a wave on the Morphling.
Shukuchi looking for SRF. Throws the swarm out, and James trying to come over as quickly as he can. He goes into the snowball. Fly taking a lot of damage. The disruption is used as tag team will run out. He gets a shot out on Ali. The Shukuchi forward. Fly though, committing over the tower? Are you crazy? Are you out of your mind?
They kill him with the poison.
They kill an SRF, but still Ali on the run. He's got snowball and he's got tag team in just a moment though. Alright.
Why did he...
Okay.
I feel like if he just saved his mana...
just short 5.
Yeah, if he saved his mana for the tag team there, he probably would have got the kill, but never mind. Probably just didn't manage his mana very well there. Didn't think about it.
Yeah, tag team was probably the better choice of the two.
Bounty.
This Batrider's TP top, by the way. JT might be in a little bit of trouble here.
Oh boy, Hoof Stomp trying to leave. Inkswell not in time. Good job by JT.
I think if you're Victoria there, you have to precast the Inkswell, assuming that the Centaur's going to want a TP. That was interesting. And they know the Weaver's just TP bot though, by the way, because he died. So they're going to try and switch up the lane so that the Batrider gets a more favourable advantage.
And they come over bottom. James tag team and Disruption will then chase on to James. This is under the tower. They also bring the Grimstroke towards bottom. Fly still trying to run out of harm's way, and well, it's a long TP from Victoria that won't end up being beneficial in any way.
I like how PL's got to this lane. He's like, I don't want to lane here, guys. Like, why are you making me be here? This is horrible. I'm laning against Weaver Shadow Demon. Like, come on, guys. There's a Centaur here as well.
Oh boy. Up stomp onto 2, double edge. Inkswell pops, now comes the Morphling. Emo's making an appearance bottom. They'll kill Ame. Kaka dead towards top as it's under the tier 1 tower that SRF's able to get that kill. And now Victoria getting chased. And then eventually we'll get pronged out.
Yeah, this laning stage going decently well for IG. But at least this Void Spirit's having a good game. He's got the phase boots almost online now, so he's going to be able to try and make some moves across the map now. I'd really like to see him play up with the Grimstroke as well. He's got 2 points in Inkswell. When you can just jump in with the Astral Step, that Inkswell can come online. And he's making the play up towards top at the moment because there's a catapult wave. And he really wants to be able to try and finish off this top tier 1. They're going to try and go on the Weaver here. He's still level 5, by the way, so he might just die here.
3 heroes trying to get on him, but they've got the telekinesis as well as the lasso. Won't survive. Good amount of damage done there by the Rubik to try and help out the Weaver, but it won't be enough.
Yeah, and best thing about the rotation is they kill the tower top as well, so they're opening up themselves a little bit more of the map than they had before. So Batrider can kind of play this whole area freely, where he shoves in the top lane over and over again while jungling at the same time with Firefly usages. So SRF
on the high ground. Very dead.
The wisdom of eternity guides me.
That was... He stood there on the high ground. There's a ward right here, and... I mean, it was Astral Step into the Aether Remnant, and he was dead before really the tag team even finished. Or even started.
There's going to be a Faded Brooch. And they've left a Keen Optic on the floor, by the way, on this Radiant side.
Ooh, SRF. He's hit with the telekinesis and now needs to run. Shukuchi, Fly trying to do what he can, but they've got the snowball. Pulls in the Batrider. It won't be enough to save the life of SRF. And now with Ali here, they look over at James. They've got the kill into the Tusk. XM might be next. They've time lapse. They're looking for the Shadow Poison hit on the XM.
The Dire stole the Optic. Oh no, and there's like a Batrider and a Grimstroke on the team, and there's a Rubik and a Shadow Demon on the other one. So this Optic could genuinely make a difference in the early stages of this game.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Come on, SRF, man. You got to be watching out for those neutral items.
They were just handing out items, and I took it. Okay. $2,000 net worth lead pretty quickly on for IG. 9.5 minutes in. We take a look over at the Morphling, who's sitting top of the net worth, 1-0-1, and well, Emo continuing to farm up, and he'll pick up his neutral items, makes sure to clean up his toys. XM though needs to be careful with flying Kaka trying to push forward and maybe make him a bit uncomfortable over towards top.
He's just waiting for the 10-minute bounty runes on the Void Spirit here. Oh look, they found another Keen Optic on the Dire side. He's like, oh, cool.
Man, this is amazing.
A bubble.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
So game's getting a little bit quiet right now. Not that it's been a huge bloodbath by any means with a kill a minute, but it's been pretty silent overall, I would say, with the amount of farming in lane. However, Astral Step, as well as that Aether Remnant, making Fly suffer a little bit.
Radiant's middle tower
Not much
is
going
under
on,
attack.
but for IG, I think they're happy with this, especially with the little bit of a lead that they've chalked up so far.
Yeah, it's looking pretty good for them, honestly. Like, this Morphling super farmed. He's going to go for this E-Blade first, which when it comes online, if you look at all these Radiant heroes, none of them are particularly
Radiant's
tanky.
middle tower is under attack.
And SRF really needs to get this Blink online so they have kill potential on this Batrider. Because, you know, they're going to have the Blink Lasso into the Inkswell
Structures
combo.
are fortified.
Or they...
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant structures
maybe
are
the Void Spirit
fortified.
could go on him, but I think the Batrider has to get Blink for them to make that move.
Radiant's middle tower is under
Moving
attack.
across, SRF as well as Ame. Fly spots him. And let's see if they go for any of these heroes. XM makes the rotation as well as Victoria. They look over at SRF. Looking for the hoof stomp. Stampede. Lasso is used, but Sticky Napalm ends up getting stolen here by Kaka. They get the kill on SRF. Another 4 heroes on the side of CDEC. They'll start to merge on the tier 1 tower over mid, but nothing more doing just yet.
Really well played there by SRF. I don't know if you realised what he did, but he saw that the Rubik was chasing him as well, so as instantly as he used Lasso, he used Napalm straight away. So Kaka was as quick as he could to try and steal the Lasso, but, you know, the Batrider was well prepared just to make sure he used Napalm straight away.
What did he get this time? He got the Aether Remnant. And I have seen some Rubiks really throw Aether Remnant back in such a devastating fashion.
Does it spawn a Rubik illusion instead of a Void Spirit illusion when he uses it? I hope
I
it
don't think
does.
so.
Because I know when you use Static Remnant on Rubik, it summons like a Rubik thing instead.
I know they don't update Arcanas, but Sapphire and Void Spirit getting banned, getting introduced into the game after the Arcana. And I say that towards top. Ollie, with the help of Emo, is able to get a kill there on a James. So another one there for IG as they take a 3,000 net worth lead.
They're slowly pulling away here on IG. This is what I mean. Like, in the draft, we can say whatever we want, but if this Morphling just starts to pull ahead, you know, he does his own thing, and that's it. You know, he's going to keep going. And this E-Blade timing is going to be massive for him if he can get it. This Batrider has to just be given some kind of farm priority here for CDEC. Because if he doesn't, then, you know, they're never going to be... The timing for them killing them off has to be before he gets E-Blade to try and slow him down a bit. If Morphling gets the E-Blade first, then, you know...
Radiant's bottom tower is
Or
under
anywhere
attack.
close to the E-Blade first, I mean.
He's already significantly close.
He's only, you know, 1,800 gold away or so. Which, considering how fast that hero farms, is... Oh, it does summon Rubiks.
Mid. And the Telekinesis XM goes into the Dissimulate, survives. Phantom's Embrace is also thrown over to the Centaur, but XM losing his Courier. Jesus, Fly coming in and sniping that one.
Sniping couriers in Dota feels so good. It's like a mental warfare kind of thing.
It's a lot more
Dire's top
prevalent
tower
now.
is under attack.
Joe, I played a Voice Spirit game the other day, and we were losing really hard, but I managed to kill 4 couriers in the space of about 2 seconds. And it didn't matter if we lost the game,
Dire
because it's
are
a mental
scanning.
victory. You're like, you know what? 4 courier kills. It's pretty good going. I'll take that.
Let's see what they can get here. Up 4,000 net worth. Again, the game not moving terribly slow, but it doesn't need, or terribly fast. It doesn't need to be moving that fast. They're farming up on the Morphling. He's going into the E-Blade. That'll probably be the moment when he looks to strike. They've got the Blink Dagger now on the Batrider, but if they can avoid that until he's got that E-Blade, I think they're in a top-notch spot here for IG.
Yeah, they need to smoke here with the Blink, and it looks like they are going to. Grimstroke has one. They have to like go into this bottom jungle of their own to try and pick somebody off. Look at these little Rubik statues next to the tier 2 bot. Get him.
Yeah. It looks like it wants a hug, the way it's got its hands just kind of
Please love me.
open up.
Here comes SRF.
So now there's the Blink as well as the Lasso. It's the Lasso reveal, but they've already got the Disruption. So they save this Weaver. The 8th Remnant, though, I say they save the Weaver, and he tries to go into the time-lapse, but he's dead regardless. Soulbind comes in. They get the kill on a James, and now let's see what else the side of IG can do. Stampede, JT on the run. A couple more shots. They've taken out a second, and all of a sudden, things look good for CDEC on this exchange. I would say the silver lining is Emo stays alive, and he's able to continue farming up this E-Blade.
Yeah, the fact that Morph survives is massive. But again, decent initiation. It looked like it was going to be really bad because... Oh, Emo, hang on. He's getting chased here. I don't know how much they can do, but... Yeah, it felt really bad because I thought they would know that the supports were sitting behind the Weaver. I genuinely thought the Weaver was going to live there, but... Yeah, they just have the perfect amount of damage before he gets the time-lapse off, dying into the Firefly, I'm pretty sure it was.
It sounded like he popped the time-lapse and he was dead as it happened.
Yeah. This Weaver's playing so scared. Oh, they saw the Batrider trying to predict where the Weaver went, but Shadow Demon's going to be in trouble mid as well.
And they get the kill there on Ollie. James getting credit for that one. I mean, they're starting to get a couple of pickoffs lining up on CDEC. IG need to stop the bleeding.
They kind of do it at the same time, like Morphling's just free farming right up in the top lane now. They're just... I really like how CDEC are trying to use this Blink Dagger, like, constantly. And Batrider needs dust, by the way. Like, if he had dust there, that Weaver dies. 100%.
Yeah, I think maybe they were relying on the Sentry Ward, but it's not really close to where that Blink initially was.
Are fortified. Radiant's top tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified.
Where's Emo at? He's getting it delivered. So
Has fallen.
E-Blade is going the way of this Morphling. So now the question becomes, is this when IG really want to make their big attack?
I mean, I think the big... Yeah, the IG want to play, but they're going to smoke up towards the Morphling. Yeah, I think 'cause they're assuming that somebody's going to be trying to gank the Morphling here. But what they don't realise is that CDEC are actually just bottom. But it looks like they've spotted the PL on a ward, so they're just going to run all the way top instead. See if they can sort him out here. But when CDEC realise that nobody's bot, I think this PL has to be super careful. I'd be really surprised if he didn't TP away after this wave. Yeah, they know.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
And they go to do Rosh instead. They got the double damage. It kind of lines up their way.
That's some good luck. Good fortune.
Scan comes through, but I just don't think they have the time to get over.
Roshan has fallen.
I mean, the big thing for CDEC is that this Void Spirit's just picked up his Aghanims, or he's literally about to buy it from the shop, and Morphling has no way of purging off the silence yet, so he's going to be relying on Ollie to be able to save him from these silences.
Oh, XM though, telekinesis to simulate. You will Astral Step away.
This is what I meant before when I said roll your head across the keyboard and you escape, by the way. Just WRR. Gone.
He just gets to leave.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
And we'll see what this E-Blade can do here for Emo. I think for IG, they need to try and play aggressively, and they have this Aegis, they have the E-Blade, they might want to really start to bring it to the side of CDEC.
Dire's middle tower is under
They've got
attack.
to
Okay,
use this
look at
Aghanim's.
where they are.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
They're just not able to play the tempo of the game they want to.
Dire's
You know, the
bottom
back rider
tower
got
is
farm
under
got slowed down quite a lot early on. If they'd have managed to keep the lanes that they wanted, you know, that they set up in the first place, I think this back rider would have had a really good game. But the fact he had to move around, I think hurt him a lot. So it was well played by IG in the first place to, you know, force that switcheroo.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Ooh, Vambrace. Yes, please, says Mr. Morphling.
You go after the tier 2 tower towards top. Emo taking a lot of damage from the Stroke of Fate.
Dire's bottom
Again, he still
tower
has that
is under
Aegis,
attack.
and Glyph will be used. So they'll at least try to defend this tower, or at least glyph it up to slow down the push potential from IG. While the rest of the
Radiant's
team,
top tower is under attack.
they farm the dire end.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Is Morphling going BKB next, actually?
Looks like it, yeah. Yes.
Boy. Look at Radiant's heroes.
Yeah, coin.
What are they supposed to do when it gets BKB?
Type GG.
Hopefully soulbind him. I guess that's the only the only way they can try and run away. But even then, there's a stampede. Like, Morphling's going to be so scary.
They kind of just, again, it's not been the most active of games between these two teams, but that's with Emo continuing to farm. He's going into the BKB. He's 300 gold away from having himself
Cool.
this Mithril Hammer, but the E-Blade, to simulate from Emo, actually, is not enough to get the kill there onto the Void Spirit.
He has an arcane rune as well, so this Morph is just loving life at the moment. And they're going to smoke up.
They're going to smoke while over towards top. Fly trying to do enough damage there on SRF, who's forced to TP all the way back to base. That leaves 3 heroes over mid vulnerable. Telekinesis looking for the Blink Coast Stop. They've got the E-Blade, they get the kill onto James. They look for more. So now Aether Remnant stolen by Rubik, thrown forward. Won't land on either of these heroes, but they do get one.
Did they both Aether Remnant there and just hope for the best?
Yeah, they should both hug.
Yeah, they're just aiming for the same spot, both of them. That's cute.
And this is, you know, a pick off here and there right now for IG. That did cost them, of course, a smoke, but they do have the Blink Dagger on the Centaur to get that initiation out. The save of Ali as well as Kaka. He's going into a Blink Dagger, so they'll have the Blink initiation from both the Centaur as well as the Rubik soon enough.
Haste.
This Morphling
Look
really
back
wants to
towards
get
bottom.
something here. He wants the Grim Stroke.
Yeah, look at that. E-Blade comes in, but not enough damage. However, Aether Remnant from the Rubik. JT gets the kill. Now they've got the Telekinesis, but they need to try and lock down this Void Spirit. They'll use the Stampede. And Ame comes in, but Ame needs to be very careful about how far he's willing to go. James, you can see how far out he is, and he's in a lot of trouble. Fly trying to throw out the damage to get the kill there, but they get the kill to Kaka.
Nice
They'll get the buyback
lasso.
out of the Rubik, and now they've got themselves the lasso, but the time lapse! Fly survives, James ends up dead, SRF being chased down, as well as the fact that they look after the Grimstroke, who goes down the steps with XM, and they back off.
He got amazing lasso on the Weaver, but nobody focused him in the duration. And so he got down to really low HP and just time-lapsed out. Like, nobody was hitting him. Oh, boy. I don't know if he got E-bladed or something. I don't think he did, but... And they caught the PL?
Blink Hoof Stomp, Ame, E-Blade, but the Aegis! That's not supposed to happen if you're IG. But Emo turns into the Phantom Lancer, looks over at SRF, and now he's forced to leave. But wait for him.
Morphling?
God, Adaptive Strike! Morphling, this might be too far!
Good save.
Disruption. Emo turns into the Phantom Lancer again, and doppelgangers onto the low ground.
Dude, that was so quick-fingered from Emo there on the Morphling. As soon as he went high ground and got the kill, he instantly started turning into attribute into strength before the punch came out from the Tusk. Because it felt like Tusk did everything as quick as he could there, right? But it still wasn't enough, unfortunately.
And this is
And
IG right now, keeping the pressure on. I mean,
And this-
they've looked pretty good.
Yeah, this Morphling has BKB now as well, so this Aghanims on the Void Spirit, which has been really annoying for him, which is why he lost the Aegis. It's suddenly it's like no problem anymore, because he just BKBs in a fight and can basically do whatever he wants. The only way they kill him is with like a lasso, but even then, Ollie's positioning has been so good. Oh dear.
Yeah, Astral Step with the Stroke of Fate, as well as just a follow-up from everybody on the side of CDEC gets the kill onto JT, and with no JT, they smoke. They want to go for more. Come up onto the high ground, there's the blink as well as the lasso. The BKB's been popped. Kaka, he'll end up dead. They threw the Soulbind out. They also got the kill onto Ollie. So now waveform onto the low ground. Emo taking a lot of damage. He needs to be careful as, well, now he's trying to back off. E-Blade himself, Fly running forward, looking over at Victoria. Fly now, he's all by his lonesome self. BKB's been popped. He at least tries to get the kill there, but there's the Walrus Punch into the time-lapse, and now he needs to leave. IG, throwing bodies in the worst ways.
A golden thread.
They get an amazing fight on the Radiant side by, they managed to kill off the 2 supports. It looks like they're going to get the Morphling. All of a sudden, Stampede comes out, and they're like, oh, we've run out of stuns, guys. What do we do? And if you look at their lineup, that is a problem. Like, they have Lasso, they have Aether Remnant, which isn't, like, easy to, make sure you get every single one off as a stun. They have Soulbind, but if you're stampeded, it doesn't make a difference. Like, Soulbind doesn't slow anybody anymore either. It's a really good Morphling game, and Emo can definitely tell that at the moment, especially with his BKB, that he's pretty much invincible at this point.
Next Roche potentially in 20 seconds. They'll smoke up again here on IG. They'll walk into the Phantom Lancer, who doppelgangers, and now the telekinesis actually hits just onto James. Hoof stomps early from JT. Won't matter because James is already dead, but still.
Minimum Roche spawn time's about to hit as well, so if it's a quick one, this Morphling's going to be really happy, but okay. Not average.
Middle ground.
There is a pipe suit on the Centaur as well, which is going to be a big game changer. JT, that pipe going to be negating a lot of the damage that comes through from the Radiant side.
Gonna skirmish once again. JT on the low ground. As Emo just kind of wanders up high. They're starting to just try and take control of the area. Look for that next Aegis.
Have they got a courier they can put in the pit or something? Yeah, they are. Okay. Is that the Beaver Knight courier? It is.
Dire's top
Paladin
tower
sword.
is under attack.
Anybody gonna hold on to the Paladin sword? No?
Yeah, I mean, the Morphling should probably take it, but I don't think he really cares at this point. Like, the Vambrace is going to give him more nuke damage to blow people up with the E-Blade, so that's what he wants the most at this point. I feel like as the game goes on, he'll probably go back for the Paladin sword, but yeah.
So there it is, Roche is up. They don't actually have a smoke available on either support for IG. For CDC, though, they've got the smoke available here onto the Grimstroke, so we'll see where they settle up and try to go invis to make a move. They'll buy a smoke finally on Ollie. They're right here next to the pit, though. Do they want another beef?
Spider legs. Yeah, pick up your items. Nice. That's going to be a Centaur spider legs, I assume. It is.
So here comes the side of CDC. Smoked up, looking over, and don't find anything just yet. They'll take the outpost, but now that's the smoke used by IG, they know exactly where they're going to be. They look over at the Phantom Lancer. There's the blink as well as the hoof stomp. The doppelganger avoids it. Fable thrown from Kaka, but he's the focus of the attention of Ame. Disruption keeps him alive. They've also got themselves the Demonic Purge coming through.
Oh, they lassoed the Weaver.
Got the kill on a Kaka. They've got the lasso now on the Weaver. They get the kill on a Fly. That's Aegis for CDC.
That was really well played by CDC because the Centaur tried to run in first to bait all the spells onto him. Like, he's the big tanky boy, right? So he wants to be the one brute forcing the damage, but the PL instantly ran after Kaka on the Rubik. and him and the Shadow Demon are like target number ones. They have to die first in the fights if they want to be successful, and they manage to get the Rubik straight away, and Weaver somehow just decides to run into the whole team and gets lassoed straight away. Fly not having the greatest game he's ever had.
1, 4, and 10 at the moment.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Not the fastest Roche either, but
Roshan
he's got
has
it.
fallen to the Radiant.
And there's
Aegis into the hands of the Phantom Lancer, and she's for the Void Spirit.
a blink on the Tusk now as well, which is going to be really game changing, because if he can get a blink punch off onto the Morphling, that'll catch him by surprise, because there's a Mind Breaker as well, right? And then he can follow it up with a Snowball. You can follow it with the Lasso or an Aether Remnant as well. Morphling gonna have to be on the top of his game here.
That should help.
Radiant's bottom tower
Telescope
is
as well
under
for the
attack.
Grimstroke or the Batrider, whoever wants it. Gonna be very nice.
Phantom Lancer going into the Abyssal Blade. He still has this Aegis to work with, of course, so I'm wondering to see what CDEC are going to do with this Aegis in their hands now.
Is he going Sanjin Kaya on the Void Spirit? He is. Interesting. Not sure how I feel about that.
Vanished.
It's okay. I don't think it's a bad item, but I guess if he's just going for the Spell Amp build with the talent at level 20 as well, it's not too bad.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Would make it really tanky actually as well.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Get this tier 2 tower top.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
Only the first tier 2 tower to go down here on the Dire side, but CDC, let's see what they can do with this. I mean, they're still working with this Aegis. It doesn't feel like they're looking to fight, though. It just looks like they're trying to take objectives and maybe have IG come over and defend.
Dire's
least for the
top
moment.
tower is under attack.
My waters rise.
Over bottom, continuing to farm his IG. Is this going to be enough? Paladin
Yeah.
Sword now in the backpack of Morphling. He's got the Manta style BKB as well as the butterfly, as well as the E-Blade. Sorry, but we were talking about the Manta was going to be a big part of this, especially against the Ags of the Void Spirit. Is Morphling set and ready to go? And I mean, with Fly's performance, I feel like he needs maybe one or
Dire's
two more
middle
items.
tower is under
Yeah,
attack.
it's difficult, isn't it? Because it felt like this E-Blade on the Morphling was like a big timing for them, and they haven't really been able to achieve what they wanted to with that. Because this Voice for Ag's kind of like slowed everything down a bit. Now this PL's just been farming away, and the PL's so difficult to kill. Like, he's itemized really defensively, but they can't really do anything to him anymore. And in this like massively, like really late game scenario, the PL's going to be the top dog, and he has this Orb of Destruction as well, which is probably the best neutral item he could have in the game at this point. And when that Abyssal comes online, Morphling has to play so carefully.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Because it doesn't matter if you have man to BKB, this Abyssal could means that the PL, if he's gets some lucky bashes in a row, they can just 100-0 you. And like you say about the Weaver, it feels like he's not really contributing anything at this point in the game. A quarter of his net worth is still in raw gold rather than in actual items. So it's kind of just the Morphling at the moment, which is offering any real
Dire's
damage threat.
bottom tower is under attack. Dire's structures are fortified.
I'm a little surprised at IG. Just they're playing very light right now.
I think they're just really worried about this like Void Spirit Batrider combo of like just how much they can burst people down. I don't know, Fly's kind of been a little bit too I don't know if impatient's the right word, but like gung-ho maybe on this Weaver. And I feel like this hero doesn't farm particularly well, right? He has no innate farming capability apart from Sakuchi. Like, he has no wave push. The only way he gets it is if he has like Maelstrom or something, right? And so this hero kind of falls off as time goes on. He doesn't do a huge amount of damage. So if you can compare in fights what the Void Spirit does to the Weaver at the moment, like this Void Spirit's all over the place. And it looks like CDEC want to smoke here, or at least hold the high ground. Maybe they think that IG are smoking, which they would be correct in thinking.
IG just go to the river and then they stop they don't want to cross just yet.
I guess Aegis is about to time out as well. Or, oh, sorry, it would have. He lost it already, didn't he? No, he still got it on the PL. Okay. That's what they're most worried about, I think, on CDEC, that if they take a fight now and the Aegis runs out, they don't have this advantage that they were really hoping to go for. 8 seconds left.
He did play that last Aegis pretty passively, and it will expire in just a second. There it goes. So now that the Aegis is expired, are they going to go for this on IG? They've got themselves the blink as well as the telekinesis. They look over at the Grimstroke, take him out immediately with the BKB being popped here by the Morphling. Now they look over at the Tusk. They've got themselves a second. James hits the deck. Emo with the double kill. They'll buy back on Grimstroke. They look over at SRF, who's been silenced for the moment. XM also trying to leave. I wonder if Ame wants to go back in. They've used the Stampede. They'll get on top of him. Now the Hoof Stomp. A lot of damage with no Aegis and a triple kill for Emo. The waveform forward. He turns into the Phantom Lancer. He'll Phantom Rush all the way over onto this Void Spirit. And, well, for a second he's hit with the Aether Remnant. Enough time to get the Astral Step for some distance. JT. Spider Legs. Spider Legs.
He thought he went up to the high ground. Man, that was like the perfect fight for IG though, because they find the Grimstroke straight away. You know, we've talked about how important this hero is with the Inkswells, the soul binds on these maneuverable heroes, and then they managed to just like 100-0 the PL as well, which is absolutely massive.
Radiant's top tower
The Shadow
is
Demon
under
managing
attack.
to delay the PL long enough by using these disruptions,
Radiant's top tower
and all of a
is
sudden
falling.
they can try and force the PL buyback here. Like great. The other good thing is, like we said, the Aegis ran out, so it's like the perfect timing to fight for IG. And they managed to make the most of that. Morphling working his way towards a butterfly as well, which is going to be really useful against all the PL illusions. Just help his damage output as well, with the E-Blade especially. All of a sudden it looks really good for IG again. They're very back and forth.
Radiant's middle
This Bat
tower
Rider and
They
Void
took
Spirit
their
are going to
moment.
start... Yeah. The Bat Rider and the Void Spirit are going to start to fall off, with a bit more as the time goes on.
That should help.
I hate
There's the
Rubik.
butterfly. It seems like it's just constantly good.
Always. Always good.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
And I love that Ollie's just playing with Emo all the time. Like, they're just playing in pairs. The first team I ever
Radiant's
noticed
bottom
that doing
tower
this like
is
all the time, that I personally noticed, was VP. Even that period where they were really dominating with like all the mages and things. This idea of playing in pairs. It was probably around for a long time before that, but yeah, I just love seeing these supports that just sit behind their cores all the time, and they understand how important it is that they keep them alive.
Got into these tier 4 items: Magic Lamp, Havoc Hammer. Let's see. And they've got the Timeless
Ooh.
Relic too. They're getting a
That's,
bunch of good tier 4 neutrals.
That's a Rubik item, that one.
They also got
sure.
Flicker.
Oh, it's in the-
Meanwhile, no tier 4s for the side of CDC.
Is the Flicker a Shadow Demon item, maybe? Or is it a somebody else item? Oh, he's taking
You're
it on
saying
Centaur. Okay.
You were saying about the Timeless Relic for Rubik.
Yeah, I mean, it's insanely good on this hero. Because the debuff duration stacks up with Arcane Supremacy. For like, look how long that lift lasts.
Ooh, boy.
He's gone.
Speed and it's just dead. 90 seconds.
Don't worry, he just loses 35% of his HP because of Shadow Demon press W. So that was pretty good. And he has no buyback either. They're not going to know this. Maybe they will if they check to see that he just bought an
Radiant's
Abyssal
middle tower is under attack.
on the PL. And if they do, then the game's probably just over, honestly. If they decide to try and force this. They might be a little bit worried because Roche is spawning.
Radiant's middle tower
It was a
is
really
falling.
quick spawn.
Dire's structures are fortified.
JT,
They're just going to go for
Radiant
this.
structures are fortified.
use that Flicker. Now they'll go towards the tier 3. They've got the Glyph and Soulbind,
Nice,
Lasso, or at least looking for it. But there's the Telekinesis coming in from the Rubik. Walrus Punch on top of it all. JT
Stolen
in trouble,
Lasso.
uses that Flicker again. And he's able to survive. They get 3 kills here. They're looking for a 4th. James goes down. That's CDC in a lot of trouble.
Radiant's middle tower is under
Nobody did
attack.
on the side of IG.
This game was so weird.
Dire's
Yeah.
top
CDEC
tower
looked
is
good
under
for
attack.
long, but I
Radiant's
don't know.
middle barracks are under
I
attack.
just sort of turn up the style.
Radiant's middle barracks.
Yeah, this is going to be 2 sets of racks, and then they'll probably just... they might go for Megas, but they also might just go back for Rocher and
Radiant's
try and
top
take the
barracks
Aegis.
has fallen.
I feel like that's probably the
Radiant's
safe
top
play.
barracks has fallen.
Like, the only way they lose the game, right, is if the Morphling dies without having buyback or anything. And Morphling's, really difficult to bring down once, but twice, CDEC are in a world of hurt at that point. Beaver Knight scouting the Roche out in the pit.
As well as the Crystal Maiden one. The Crystal Maiden Sir Action Slacks one. Or the Casey Sir Action Slacks Courier scouting out.
Sean has fallen to the dark.
There's a refresher shard, by the way, on the Rubik now, who has Blink Lasso.
Oh, Ame. Double Abyssal.
What
And
save
let's
by
see what they
Ollie.
can get out of this. They've gotten themselves the disruption onto Emo, so that'll keep him alive. The BKB's been popped. Fly Fight again, where are you? Finally gets the time lapse off, but the BKB will be down.
What a save by Ollie, though, honestly. Can you hear me, Mr. Beacop?
Yes.
Okay. My internet just had a little spike. Yeah, amazing save by Ollie, though, on the Morphling. That was crazy. There was, could have been the Morphling Aegis going down for pretty much nothing there, but the fact they managed to get out without losing anything there on IG is a massive win for them. They'll be feeling really happy about that. Now they can just reset, go again whenever they feel. Oh, there is a Timeless Relic on the Radiant now, though, as well, and I assume they're going to put that on the Batrider. Oh, he's
He
actually
takes the
taking...
Will of Shako.
Okay, I mean, also a good item, to be fair. I don't know who they give the... do they give it to Spirit or something? But it's not really... I guess they do, yeah. I guess he is going for the Spell Amp kind of build, though, right? With the Kaya and Sanj. He's almost at the level 20 mark as well with the Spell Amp, so... Just feels like the hero doesn't really do enough damage at this point in the game. It's kind of only really the PL. And IG have done a really good job of focusing him down.
Silence comes out from Fly. They'll throw the Swarm forward as well as the E-Boyd and the Adaptive Strike, but the Hoof Stomp hits on Ame. Ame now, let's see what he's able to accomplish as XM goes in with the Astral Step as the Telekinesis comes through from this Rubik, and now they've got themselves the lasso out of the Centaur. But Rubik's still surviving. Kaka stays alive and
lasso.
steals the lasso and gets the kill on XM. They'll take out 3. They'll buy back on the Void Spirit. Doppelganger from Ame to try and survive here as he focuses his attention over on
he
Kaka.
lassos
They've got
again
the
with the
Telekinesis
refresh
once
shard.
again, and they've got the refresh shard and the lasso once more. That should be GG.
Dude,
James
Kaka's-
is dead. No buyback on Phantom Lancer.
Kaka's a god. He played so well. He was crazy.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, and they just got
There
it.
it is, GG.
And thank God it's right at the end now, because my internet's just decided to have an absolute nightmare. So, and of all the times, I appreciate it.
Dire victory.
That was lovely. I mean, really well played by IG, though. That was, the last 10 minutes of that game or so were all IG. They felt in complete control. The Batrider almost just basically fell off a cliff, it felt like. That hero just did not achieve anything in the late game scenarios. Rubik was a better Batrider than Batrider was, unfortunately.
Yeah, right at the end, right when it was needed most. 28-15 in favor of IG. I mean, at the end, it was such a strange game because it seemed like it went so slow towards the 15 to 30-minute mark. If you look at the graph, it's just kind of like Dota happened, but it didn't. You know what I mean?
I actually
And then
think
all of a
I would
sudden,
give
the
Ollie
last
my
5
MVP this
minutes-
game, though. I think he was always in the right place at the right time, and
Yeah.
he was incredible, honestly. It's kind of like a silent but deadly effect, right? But if you were playing a CDEC there, you would